Hey guys.
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb. Together we make up
HetteshWorld.
Okay, it's a different video today. We're not riding anywhere. We're not showing anything fun. We're talking about medical on the road, and we're talking about this guy.
Yep.
So stay tuned. We're Bob and Barb. We've lived by the rules all of our lives, but in 2020, we threw that rule book out the window. We sold our home and moved full-time into an RV with our cat Amelia, and from now on, we will be living life our way. Don't you want to come travel in our world? So Bob, why are we talking about this?
Well, I wanted to give you, us being full-time RVers, perspective on getting sick on the road. And I don't mean a cold or a runny nose. Getting to where you have to be hospitalized because of an illness. A little brief about my past. I've passed kidney stones. I've been a stone former since I was 27.
We like crystals and stones, but this is a little ridiculous now.
Mine and Barbara's second date, I got to pass a kidney stone. We got to go to the emergency room for the first time.
87.
Yep.
I thought he was trying to get away from me. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so since the last 35 years, I've been a stone former, and I pass stones on occasion, and normally I could take some Tylenol and let them go. 12 years ago, I ended up having to have the stents installed between your kidneys and your bladder, and to get them broke up and to have them pass. Well, 2 months ago, I started having pains in my right kidney, and I can feel it because of 35 years of knowing it. And it moved in my left kidney, and I felt both kidneys, and I knew there was a problem, and I was trying to not alarm Barbara to the problem, and I was trying to get through it, but hoping that it would pass and we would be on our road, because the last thing I wanted to do was disrupt our life that we had already scheduled. You know, we scheduled this all these times, so it was hard on me because I was trying not to disrupt that. But
he disrupted it big time.
Yeah, it got we were at a park. We were scheduled there for a week, and yeah. I finally said we need to go to the hospital because it was getting to where I couldn't take the pain no more, and Tylenol was not cutting it. So we ended up going to the emergency room, which was an enjoyment.
We'll talk about that next.
Yeah. Going to the emergency room, and I ended up getting scanned, and I had stones in, of course, left and right kidney, left being the worst. Put the stents in so I could pass all the small stones, knowing that I was going to have to set up a procedure to get the stones broke up, which they put you on a table and they bruise your body basically from head to toe.
Shake, rattle, and roll.
Yep. This was bad. I felt like I was in a car accident because I had a stiff neck down to my knees. But I had found out from our doctor, which I had an incredible doctor, young doctor that did the procedure, but I found out that they ended up having to go into my left kidney and actually do some laser because one of them little guys didn't want to break up, and it was not wanting to come out. No. So after that procedure, they were able to remove my right stent and leave my left stent in along with a string, which we all know where that would come out at. Something that I could remove down the road, which I wasn't looking forward to it, but I was looking forward to be able to do it myself and not have to go back to the doctor to extract it, which we all know where they have to extract it from. So that was not fun. So that's mainly what I wanted to talk about today was the disruption in your life when you're on the road. I mean, even if you're in a sticks and bricks, it's a disruption to your life.
Yeah.
But when you're scheduled out and you're not in your normal area to get health care, or you're not around your normal doctor, it gets to be dicey, and you have to kind of take on the medical world that they're going to be able to take care of you. And this hospital was totally incredible. We ended up going to 2 different hospitals because our urologist that I used did an emergency procedure, so he come over to this hospital to do it for us because my left kidney was starting to get backed up.
He was turning gray.
And it was giving me pain because I was not able to empty my bladder. So,
excuse me.
And then we had to put the stents in for 2 weeks before I could get it scheduled because we didn't find out that there's a shortage of urologists in the United States. And so it was backed up. And so for 2 weeks, I had, for 2 weeks I had the stents. And if anybody's had the stents, I don't need to explain to you
Yeah.
the pain and the blood that you just get rid of in your body. It is not fun. If I was going to get sick on the road, and compared to other people we've seen on the road that get cancer, have heart problems, we've seen so many people on the road that have had heart conditions and stuff. I'll take the stone. You know, I told him if I was gonna have to have something that was gonna hospitalize me and get a procedure done, which they called a surgery, kidney stone stents are probably the way to go, because who wants to have a heart attack or have cancer, you know? So I'm not going to put it in that same realm as that, but it definitely was an inconvenience for both of us, and Barb handled it perfectly, and she was my nurse and helped me out every chance she could.
He wondered why I walked around with a pillow a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some times where I was not the friendliest person in the world, and I admit it. In the hospital, I was very cordial with everybody. I'm not a mean person, but sometimes the pain gets to where it comes out of you, you know, and it's before I got the stents. The stents are different altogether. You have a different kind of pain, but the stents at least allowed, my kidneys were able to empty into my bladder, and I was able to urinate. So before that, it was a little tough, and that's why I was having so much pain, and I was probably not a friendly person all the time. And she's rolling her eyes at me.
We will talk a little bit about like our medical. We will talk a little bit about full-time I'm being on the road, and I'm going to talk a little bit about actually what happened, the whole thing that we went through, because it's the story that you probably need to hear. We are, in case you don't know, full-time RVers.
Yep.
We live in our home. This is our home that you see around us, and we have been traveling for almost 2 years across the United States.
Yep.
We have not been sick or had a cold. We've not gotten COVID. We've been very fortunate. We are both fairly, healthy people. I mean, Bob's a stonemaker, and I have allergies and sinus. So that's been interesting for me, traveling around the country and finding different pollen everywhere I go, or being perpetually in spring all the time. But it's something that my body's gotten healthier and better with.
Yeah, sometimes just trying to find prescription drugs on the road,
it was never a problem until we got out west. And then I was like, where did CVS go? Why is CVS not out here? Why is CVS hours away from everything? But we have a medical retiree plan through Bob's company, so we're very fortunate there. It's a very good plan, and we have it until he's 65, then he goes on the Medicare, and then I continue on it until I'm 65, and then I'll go on Medicare. So we're not anywhere near that yet, so this is the plan that we have. So traveling around and having this happen, we're in Washington at Little Diamond Thousand Trails Campground. The park was very difficult to park the camper in, because we came on a Monday, which normally is good, but the park was fully loaded because people didn't leave there till Wednesday, and we have the big camper. So it was very difficult on a tiny road up on a mountain to get into your spot, but we got in there fine. And we were happy there for almost a week, because we were going to move on and start our exploration of Washington State. But then Bob started getting sick, and he actually got to the point where he turned gray, and he's very difficult where things, if they don't feel good or go wrong for him, he tries to handle it, he tries to deal with it, and then it gets to the point where it's so bad that he turns gray. So now we'll take you into the emergency room. First, we did research. We looked at Newport Hospital, which had a rating of 1. So we're like, let's go to Spokane, which was an hour away.
Yeah, I decided that with having these stones before in the past and having to have stents installed, I knew that the small hospital was not going to be able to do it. I'd probably go there and get processed, and then they either had to take emergency ambulance rides, or we'd have to ride down anyway. So we decided I was not in that dire need, but I did need to get attention. And I wanted good medical attention. So we took the hour ride to Spokane.
Went to Providence Sacred Heart Hospital.
Yep.
Which their rating was very good. And luckily, Spokane is not like some of the cities you hear about. It has some homeless encampments, it has some of this, but it's a fairly safe city. So it's our first experience also with a city hospital. So we go in, we're there at 8 in the morning, which was smart, because by 9 we knew that he had stones, and we knew he had stones for sure on both sides. We knew he was going to have stents, and that he was going to have to come back in to get it done. And then we sat there until 10:30, and then they said, you know what, it's an emergency, we see a big problem with this left side, so we're going to not admit him, but take him upstairs and put the stents in. I'm like, great. They go, but we could never go back to the little emergency room because they were filled with COVID people. So we had to stay out in the lobby of the emergency room, and we had to stay in the lobby till 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of interesting people in this lobby. I mean, we had
lots of people come in and go, I got COVID. We had our mouth full.
We had people come on with COVID. And I said, if we don't get COVID this time, we're never going to get COVID, because about every person that came in, people come in, I got 4-stage cancer, and I just developed COVID.
Yeah. Or the person came in and their finger was kind of hanging off, and they
triaged them right there in the lobby.
We're watching
there was just it was I would say a medium-sized hospital, but they just didn't have the space to handle the amount of people that come in.
And then you had the people with the drugs that came in.
Yeah, people that came in, so they were meth heads and stuff, and they had to have. They were trying to get intervention.
Yeah.
They were trying to get shots.
And the mother brought the son in. What kind of drugs are you on? I'm on.
Yeah, litany of
because you're just sitting there listening to everybody. And then we had the bodybuilders that came in.
Yep.
And they were in spandex, and they were women bodybuilders. So they were fit,
they were women,
but they
weren't
were.
Sure.
Oh, you're ruining my story. But they were big, muscular women, and they come in and they're wheeling a little frail guy in there, and they start rearranging the furniture in the waiting room. I don't know why, but they kind of made a square. And then they wheel him over there, and they sit down, and the girl sits down next to me, and she goes, I don't know about this, George. I don't know if it's going to work. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But they had
maybe not ladies.
Full makeup on, heavy, huge extension eyelashes. I mean, I was pretty impressed with how pretty and their makeup was, and their hair, because I didn't have any makeup on at all.
Yeah, so it was about 6 hours of.
But those are the kind of characters. And
6 hours of memories we probably will never be able to burn away from our brain. I guess if your arm was actually cut off, it might take you back right away, but otherwise you were in the line. And
they had the woman that had the heart attack. They did take her, the little old lady. They took her back.
Yeah, there was an old
away.
woman they thought was having a heart attack, so she did get to go
They
back
took her somewhere.
But it was interesting.
I mean, this is what's super weird. We've dealt with doctors and stuff before. The doctors and the nurses at this hospital, when you're talking to them, they care, they're nice, they're friendly, and when you're with them, you're like in a Hallmark movie, like there should be snow falling, because they're so incredibly nice and wonderful. Yeah. And I told them, I said, man, I feel like I'm in a Hallmark movie. You guys are awesome. Yeah. They go, yeah, and then you open the curtain and you got a horror movie right out there.
Out there in the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, their treatment of Bob, taken upstairs, was perfect. The stress of the day got to me finally, because the hospital had all kinds of mazes, and when they took him away, I hadn't had any food, so I wanted to get something to eat, so I foolishly left, because I'm on this floor and he was on this floor.
She left me hungry.
Yeah, and I had to go down here to get food, so I got down there, but then I took the wrong elevator back, so then I was over here, and then I tried to go here, and then I just started crying in the hallway, and this doctor's like, did you come from the psych ward or the emergency room? And I'm like, I don't know where my husband is, I can't find him. So he took me where I needed to be.
And I was taking a nice little nap.
He was resting. But they did put the stents in pretty easy and quickly, and then we got him home. But we did have like a 2.5 week wait because of the same thing of we don't have enough staff. There's a urologist shortage. Thank you so much for calling Spokane Urology. We have a urologist shortage, so you will have to hold. Yeah. And then when you call them, they either disconnect you or you might be on hold 30 minutes before they even answer the phone, which is kind of weird. And then we had to deal with the scheduler just to schedule a meeting, and they didn't schedule that for like almost a week, and then we had to wait another week after that before we could get him in. But then we went to Deaconess Hospital, which is his normal hospital. Yeah. And it was great. They got him in, they shook him up.
Yeah, both hospitals were just super, super professional. I mean, everybody we dealt with was awesome. I mean, and that just made the whole experience better. Yeah. We couldn't ask for a better staff of people.
I mean, God took us where we needed to be for this to happen. That is for sure.
It was that part side of it was perfect,
We're still finishing up this process. The doctor understood we were full-time RVers, and he understood. Most of the nurses got it. The office staff never got it. Yeah. They scheduled a meeting for Bob to come back on September 1st to Spokane, Washington.
Which will be about 400 or 500 miles from there at that point.
And we are currently in Quincy, Washington. So And they knew, the doctor knew, I'm going to let my girl know, they're going to call you, we'll do a phone call, you're going to probably have to get an x-ray. So then when I called, because no one called us, and had to blow all that crap again with the office staff, they were like, you have to come in, you have to come in, you have to come in. I said, we don't come in because we're full-time RVers, and we talked about this. So we finally got it cleared, and we went to a small facility here and got him an x-ray, and then we have a follow-up call, I think, next week sometime, when we're going to be by then in Oregon.
Yeah, medical center right here in Quincy was able to take one x-ray for the doctor for my meeting next Friday, the teleconference call. So to make sure that
he's empty.
I'm as empty as or clear as the kidneys can be, I guess.
I told the doctor to shake the shit out of him and get it out.
Yep. Luckily, they were able to laser the one out and get that guy out of the way. Cause
our family doctor is in Texas, so we go there maybe once a year. And like Bob said, we get our testing and stuff done. But if we ever have an issue, we call them. And she does telecommunication, which means we could see her on the computer or talk to her on the phone. Our dentist is in Batesville, Indiana, which we go there when we go home to see the
our
kids.
doctors are back by where the kids.
Yeah, back there. We see our eye doctor there.
Yeah, we see our eye doctor and our dentist.
Yeah.
Twice a year.
I mean, the dentist is great, the eye doctor's great, but they knew us forever to begin with, and they understand that we're full-time RVers.
Yeah.
If you're on the road, your medical insurance, your prescription coverage, all that can be done and handled, but you got to be on top of it, and you've got to be able, to deal with different people who don't understand your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Even though there's over 1 million of us out there that are full-time RVing now.
I think that's what gave me the most anxiety, was the whole thing about on the road and trying to get through the pain and trying to grit through it. And because I knew what it was, the pain, I know where it starts in your back and works its way to the front. And it's not like it's appendicitis where it's up real high or stuff like that. And I've already had my gallbladder's been evacuated already earlier in life, so I know it wasn't the gallbladder, because I remember those pains too. But it's just the anxiety of knowing that you're on the road, you're not sure what hospital you're going to get to go to, what kind of coverage are you going to get. We know we got good medical, but just getting that all into works, and Barb had to work hard with trying to get things scheduled.
It's my background. I used to do, at one time in my life, benefits in HR for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just can't be real friendly with some of those folks. I mean, you try to be as cordial as you can, but sometimes you got to lay the law down. This is the way it is. Just like, we don't live here.
Well, and before COVID, you dealt with people that may be rude, and you could handle them maybe a little bit differently than you can now, because there's a shortage of people. So I don't know. Sometimes you have great quality people really working their butts off, and then you have people who don't really want to work but are maybe being forced to work. Like, we talked to a gentleman in one state where all his workers are 30 years old and they live in their parents' basement, and they only work a few hours a week because their parents make them.
Yeah.
So they hate their job and they hate what they have to do, and they'd rather be home gaming.
Yeah.
So you run into all kinds of people like that. Now, the last part of this is, what do you do with your home when this happens?
Yeah.
Luckily, we were at 1,000 trails, and it was our first 1,000 trails in a long time, because we had come from Indiana and then we had moved out west slowly, but we had paid for all those parks.
Yeah, we were looking forward to getting 1,000 trails, because we were gonna help the budget out a little bit. So we knew, and fortunately for us, this park was a nice park. It was hard getting in at first.
Yeah.
But once we got in, we loved it, because it was truly like a forest. Luckily for us, it was a slow time of the year for them, and we were able to extend our 2 weeks to give us 3 weeks. And then with our plan with 1,000 trails, we were able to pay $29 and extend another week.
Yeah.
So we stayed there for 4 weeks for $29. So we couldn't beat that. We even tried to extend it further.
Well, I tried to have conversations with 1,000 Trails, who then referred me to Little Diamond, and Little Diamond would refer me back to 1,000 Trails. Is because we have 2 weeks that we can pay for, and typically they don't want you to use them at the same place. I said, this is a medical emergency. After his procedure, I would like him to stay here another week.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could give consideration to that? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
The big concern was we needed to get the stent out of him. He pulled it out on Saturday, and we left the park on Monday.
Yeah.
And then we came here to Crescent Bar, and Crescent Bar is just beautiful because we're right on the Columbia River.
Yeah, it's a beautiful park.
It's amazing. And he's been recovering, and he's been healthy and getting better. But As far as RV parks are concerned, we always schedule things 180 days ahead of time.
Yeah, or more.
Yeah. So I was scheduling things on the fly, like what do I have next week? You know, what do I have in 2 weeks? So we pretty much have scrapped our touring of Washington. We've done a teeny bit of stuff here, went to Leavenworth and did a bicycle ride on Crescent Bar and stuff.
Got to ride the blue Spidey for the first time in a month.
Yeah, we hadn't been on Spidey forever.
Yeah.
And then we head next to Oregon, where we're having the bike checked out.
Yep.
And we were going to go see Sean. We had reservations to see Sean from Smoke's blog, which is the trifecta of the Canon YouTube community with Coach Bob and John and Miriam and Sean.
Yeah, the ones we follow real close.
Nope. I mean, we were going to, back in the day, the last time he had stints, he loves Rush, and we were going to go see Rush, so he didn't get to do that.
I bought tickets and had to give them away.
And now he doesn't get to go see Sean because Sean's on vacation. But that is okay. But we're going to spend a week in Oregon, and then we kind of get back on our schedule, and I think in another part of Oregon for just a week. But we're almost at the point now where we just want to go to California and start our travels there on September 12th.
Yeah.
So that we wanted to share with you is what happened to us and what has been our adventure. So it's not a ride, it's not seeing pretty things, it's not making fun food, it's not being silly, but
it's the ugly side of full-time RVing
life.
Where sometimes things get thrown your way and you have to roll with the punches.
Yep.
And like I said in the very beginning of the video, that if I'm going to get sick and have to be hospitalized, if it's kidney stones, so be it. I'll deal with it. But we've seen plenty of people that we follow that have had heart problems, heart attacks,
all kinds of issues. We're very
brain
blessed.
cancers.
Yeah.
You know, of course, we've had death in the family too.
Yeah.
But all that stuff you can deal with on the road. But if it's something major medical, you know, a cancer or a heart attack, it's just that's a whole different level. So we definitely don't want to bellyache about Bob and his stents and his kidney stones, but we just wanted to share it. We just wanted to share with you. That's just part of it, and that's things you really can't plan for because you don't know when it's going to happen. You know, when you're going to have to go to the emergency room, whether it's a clinic to get medicines given to you, but this was a little bit more than that. So we just want to kind of share with that, and that's just a bump in the road, and hopefully that's all that happens. And
you're making mascara go to my eyes.
Life goes on, and we get back on schedule, and we still love this life. We're not quitting this life anytime soon.
No, I don't like to see my husband in pain. It's very upsetting for two reasons. Because one, I hate seeing him hurt. I hate seeing anything hurt him. I want to beat him up if anyone even tries to hurt my husband.
I don't want to see this husband hurt either.
But there comes a point where you're carrying that pillow around.
Yeah, she's trying to take me out, guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay, enough. I guess we hope that you will like the video, even though it's not a fun topic.
Yep.
We hope that you smash up that notification bell because we have a lot more fun stuff coming. We hope that you comment if you have issues, like you're full-time or you part-time and you travel or any kind of issues at all. Go ahead and share them with us.
Yeah, share us your trials and tribulations when it comes to medical on the road.
So remember, we're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our incredible world.
Bye!